Hello and welcome to the supports commentary. This is a gameplay with injection of thoughts, critique, and advice. My name is BlueGill75. Trying some different things with Genji. I recorded this match afterwards just to show how much of a difference it makes to fill out your auto attack first and then start doing supportive abilities, because as long as your allies are doing pretty good, like they can take care of themselves pretty good, I understand why people will build Genji's auto attack, because it works so well, especially just for clearing lanes much faster, which I tend not to be an aggressive person, but I went pretty crazy in this one. Like, I never ever do this well, especially as Genji, but I think it's one of my best, if not the best, Genji play in a long time, especially going that much. Well, what happens in the match later on. But I've learned that being aggressive also has the cost of you might steal some kills by accident as well. So just trying to find a balance of being aggressive to your enemies and being kind to your allies as well, because yeah, getting kills is great, but it can be quite annoying to have them taken by somebody else who just comes in and does one attack, like maybe just a basic attack, and they get the kill, they get all the credit for it. So there's that to take in mind, just trying to find balance with it. But something I noticed more and more in the game, like people are just leaving for no reason. Like once people started leaving, I got so confident in what I was doing that I had no fear at all of the other team. I think it's what caused me to go this insane, because I didn't feel a challenge from the other team. So I decided just to get in their face more and see how well I can do. And I was testing out this kind of playstyle, see how it worked out. It worked quite well in my favor. Kind of a nice thing about replaying, seeing anybody who's invisible, which works very well for this map as well. So just pushing the lanes very quickly. Like, I normally just focus on lanes for the first part, where Genji kind of has to farm for a while, where he's pretty weak starting out. But making that process faster will help you make money faster and keep the lanes in the enemy territory. So it can quite work out well in that regard, because when I was told that building your auto attack first was the thing to do, I was pretty hesitant about it. I was stubborn that in order to be a good support, you had to focus on buffs and debuffs first, like with healing or slow or anything like that. But that makes you very reliant on your teammates, and if your teammates don't have a lot of skill or confidence, then that can make your job much harder if you haven't built into doing more damage or making yourself do better. Because especially with Genji, with the healing one, if you're not staying with people, or if you can't get people to stay in front of you and work on something, push lanes, not chase enemies too much, if you end up, you can't really stay with your teammates, and then you got all these power-ups that don't really help you all that much, rather than the clone could be doing better pushing lanes rather than trying to chase the Froggy G, you know, that kind of stuff. So matchmaking seemed to be pretty extreme. Like, I'm not sure what causes it. It was just a quick match. I didn't get caught up in somebody who sent an invite and they were in League 8 or anything like that. Not trying to insult the other team or anything, just matchmaking can be pretty extreme. Like, sometimes you just get completely wiped. Sometimes you just mop the floor with their team. It's, I don't know, like, there's a satisfying game, which can last for a long time, but the long games just feel very much like a chore, rather than, it's like trying to clean up a spill that keeps happening, rather than taking care of one big thing. You're just doing a lot of little things, and that little thing is just something that keeps happening over and over. You know what I mean? Like, rather than feeling like you're really making progress or really being rewarded and achieving something, it's just rather than, oh great, I gotta do this again, oh great, I gotta do it again, trying to fight droids back, or when the enemies are pushing droids, or just trying to take care of somebody who you just can't do that well against. Like, if you can't really fight off the Leon very well, or if Ayla's just chasing you too much. It's just trying to, okay, let's try to get past this part as quick as we can. But I find with Genji, just having that problem solved for first bit, because I don't find... I'm just reading some comments I've been seeing about Genji play, like, boots can be very useful, but I'm trying to make the habit of not buying utilities as often. I'm trying to just rely on my character's defaults kind of more often. At least for the utilities. Normally I never get piggyback, but I decided to do this just because I was thinking that it was gonna be a shorter game, just where I felt that we were doing much better than the other team. Because I figured, well, might as well just try to make the game go by quicker. Because normally I tend to wait it out, like I'm prepared for a long haul, like I'm ready for hour-long games. They rarely happen, but I have heard of them happen more often. Like, I know the developers want shorter games. Sometimes I get it, but the way with the solar progression and the length of the games, if it's 15 minutes or shorter, 15 minutes is a good sweet spot. Like, I prefer having 15-minute matches than rather than 45 any day. But the thing with the 15-minute ones, that you don't really feel like you got the full meal. Because if a match ends in 5 or 10 minutes, then it felt like it was very, very fast progression. Faster than average, anyway. It just feels like the rate of how the match goes and the rate of completion, getting all the items for your characters. I think I kind of have an idea of how they could fix that by making shorter games feel just as satisfying as a longer game. I think it's pretty simple what it could be, but would that even work? Like, I'm sure there are ways, it's just, are all those ways pretty solid? Like, is it something that they're serious into trying to do, or are they just trying to tinker with the game and try one thing at a time? Because I kind of feel like it changing the damage, changing the solar rate, how you get extra solar for killing someone and you lose more solar for dying. It doesn't feel like that feature is complete, like the whole... There's something about solar that's missing. I feel like it's being planned, but I feel like it was planned for 2.7, but I think like with the whole solar thing just isn't quite there. Like, as soon as you get some kills, or your team gets some kills, you have an instant advantage, even from just assist solar. Because at that point, if I were to keep dying, like before the solar change, if I were to keep dying, I would just get my solar back on the way down from the drop pod. But now if I keep making mistakes, or if I'm just not doing very good against people who are hundreds of solar ahead of me, and if I keep getting taken out, I will lose about 10 solar each time. So I'm actually doing worse. Dying is not entirely all of it. It's not from the enemy making the extra solar. Because I used to just get my money back on the way down. I collect enough solar, but now it feels like I'm just starting to go backwards, which is something that's really never been experienced. So maybe that's why it feels so difficult to get ahead. Because the nice thing about playing a game, which a lot of people liked as well, from what I've read, is that how even near the end of the game, you still had a fighting chance as long as you were able to pull it together and make one last stand. But a lot of people don't bother playing out the entire game. If they see that their enemy is just doing better than them, they won't try to wait and see if their end game will work out, or if they'll try to max out everything and then make a push then later in the match. They just leave. And there's not much of a punishment for that either, so just keep playing matches until you're doing well in one, and then stick that one out. But as soon as you're not doing very well, instead of owning up to it, or just trying to communicate with teammates like, what can we do better? Why not? Just leave the match. I mean, I kind of get why people do it. You don't really get punished for it. Like a rating, you might lose some spots in the ranking system, but a lot of people don't care anyway. So it's only for... It's not like something obvious such as in the usual Dota style game where you can't play for a little while. This game doesn't have that kind of system, so what's something that you can punish someone for potentially making a match more difficult, or because the only way it really turns around for the losing team is if someone leaves and then someone comes in. They get that late join bonus solar, and then it's a different character much of the time than what the teammates are prepared for. Because a Leon could come in and just wreck face, or someone who, say for a Ana, for example, if you bought your Medican early, if you got lots of healing or anything like that, and then Ana leaves, okay, all the items I bought to counter this character has left, so now I'm left in this awkward spot. And say there's someone who, like, trying to build against Ana, and then a Vidian Spike comes in. Well, now you have to hope that the items you got can work well against that Vidian Spike, or else Vidian just has the advantage by joining late. And that is logical to believe that's not fair, really. Like, it sounds harsh, but it really is. Like, you have a benefit of joining late games because the character you pick, the enemy team may have their items and they have no... Like, you might be the hard counter to the team just because of you waited 5 minutes to join a match. Now, sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You can join someone, say someone on your Steam list join your game. But the way, like, there are lots of things I like to see in a game. Probably brainstorm them with some people to kind of get the idea going. Just like how a lot of other games do. You can see if someone's in a match. And it would be really nice to see if how many people are in the match. Who are they playing? I think Dota has that same thing going on. Like, you can see if your teammates in a match, and then you can see what character they're playing, and you can even watch the match if you want. Like now with Steam broadcasting, if I had fast enough internet, I'd be doing it more often. But I have a lot of trouble trying to stream content. Netflix is fine, but when it comes to pretty high quality stuff with no quality settings, that's the kind of thing that bugs me about Twitch. I do like using it, but if the stream is not sponsored, like if there's no quality options, I need medium or low in order to catch up with a stream. Because of its source quality, if the source is 720p or higher, then I can't keep up. And there's nothing I can do about that. So I do like Twitch, but I just really don't have the technology for it yet out here. At least the companies haven't decided it's worth putting the fiber optic cables out this way. Because out here they're working on doing fiber optics. Because the STL that's available is pretty bad. Like, it's pretty basic, but they won't offer faster DSL, which I don't quite understand. Like, I just had the basic plan, whereas if I lived 5 minutes away, I'd have the ultra plan. It's kind of fucked up, but that's North American internet providers for you. But yeah, you just kind of see, like, I was able to help out my teammates. I did steal some kills from Proggy G there, but I didn't really have to focus on utilities too much. I got the boots just to help with speed, but for how for being how aggressive I was just getting boots. Like, I didn't need to get boots because I was dealing a ton of damage. So I was able to look after myself fairly well. Swiggin was able to save my butt there. That hasn't happened in the match already. I think it's nearly there, or it's happened already. My eyes just wander. It's kind of nice thing, like, I'll just record the video, then I will record my commentary afterward, just so that I can both have good camera work and have the focus to do both things pretty well anyway. But it just works out very well, like getting I don't have it yet, but even getting speed boost for Froggy G just trying to cover up all my problems and then start helping the team on the way there. Just clearing droid lanes, everybody should be doing anyway. If you only kill enemies, if you just cheese people all around the map, if that's what the entire team's doing, then it's pretty easy for the other team to come back from that wipeout and then start pushing. And that's what happens to a lot of teams. That's how some comebacks happen. Just people will... I've seen it happen, like 2 people will distract the team while 1 person pushes. Or just going in for one giant push burst, like killing 1 or 2 people. And then starting to push, because with 1 person dead, 2 people alive left to push, while 3 versus 2 advantage, then if the 3 find the 2 grouped up, then take 1 out, then 3 to 1 advantage, so that gives you more time to push without much opposition. Depending on the character, of course, like maybe a Lone Star can hold off and can hold off an opposing force pretty well on its own. Just depends, like Scoop or anything like that. Like he can do pretty well against a group, like with the Frozen Hammer, but when it comes to taking out multiple droids, like say there's 4 bunched up or anything like that, it's a little tricky for him. But then again, just trying to understand your character, knowing their strengths and weaknesses. But I don't know, like I found this playstyle worked out very well for Genji, because whenever I get fed up from playing support, either if I have teammates who shouldn't have support with them, like if my teammates don't quite know what they're doing, and I want to take charge and try to lead them, well, it's difficult for a Voltar to take the lead when he's got all healing items rather than having any items built into the damage. That sometimes you feel you're in a rough spot, so trying to incorporate at least the ability to take care of something by yourself, in Genji's case, taking out droids very quickly, and dealing with enemies very, very well. Just dealing that extra damage, like Storm Cloud takes out droids very well. Damage over time will do that extra 10 damage, which will add on to that extra damage. So you can do very well, especially when the butterfly comes back to your one. So you're able to do a hit 2 or 3 times even. I think you still can hit someone 3 times if you bounce the butterfly off the ground at the right angle. I haven't quite tested it, but I remember before it was only 2 directions that it was something that you could do. But I'll have to look into that if the butterfly wand gets changed around. When I do item guide for that, we'll see how that turns out. But we're starting to get there, like taking out droids fairly well, but just trying to learn to stay on the battlefield as much as I can. Trying to go back unless I really, really need to. Like trying not to go back just to get health. Try to wait until I can buy at least 2 items or something like that. But I did notice near the end, I went to a shot when I probably didn't need to if I just stayed there or just hang back and then heal myself, doing things like that. So I don't know, I kind of have that I need to get the rest of my items rather than I think we can get it. We should try, like just keep using force until either the match ends or you die. Anything like that. So, yeah, just droids were hardly a problem. Like this is something I'll probably be doing more often if I want to get more aggressive to droids and enemies. Then that's something I could do, because I found myself doing quite well with Yuri because he can defend lanes very, very well. And I've just been trying more aggressive playstyles. I'll have to try it with Voltar. I haven't done it on him yet, because a Voltar who focuses on enemies, I've seen him do incredibly well. Like, it's actually insane the amount of power a Voltar can have against enemies. Because someone might not focus on heals. I've seen some focus on kills and then they make their money from kills. They're able to take advantage of the burst damage, doing damage as much as possible, and just being that constant force against an enemy. just something I'm trying to learn, just trying to be more aggressive, not try to rely on my allies. Blind trust especially, that's kind of gets annoying or bothersome when you try to let your teammates do the work, let them get the glory. But not when they make a mistake, just when they could have done something but done that, or if they just don't stay on the same page as you. Like, it's not me trying to be bossy, it's just when an opportunity is missed by another opportunity and just missed moments, just thinking of, okay, maybe I should start steering the ship instead of trying to get this guy steered in the right direction. But even for Stormcloud, it'll go through walls, so that will take care of that Genji near the core. But this is what I mean by aggressive playstyle. Like, normally I'm in lanes 90% of the time, but I figured my allies could do that, then I could just poke away at them. Like, it could get that Genji right there, but he managed to get to the shop in just in time. Now, I don't know if I really needed to do that, head back to the shop, but I figured I might as well just buy the items. I could have just stayed there and kept putting in force, or maybe I could have died. Like, I figured how well I was doing that I tried to avoid getting a death, because I didn't die at all at this point in the match. And I even went for an invisible icon and just tried to see if I could help my teammates. But a lot of times I end up getting the last kill, the last hit, because the damage over time that I put on my auto attack. Because I could have been easily Swiggin's kill, but I end up going for that hit, because I always worried that if I hold back and let my ally do it, then that's a chance for my enemy to get away. So, yeah. So lots of different playstyles I could try out. And there's still lots more I can experiment with in this game. So that was your commentary for today. Thanks very much for watching.